Hi guys, I'm making this video because the other day when I posted about my diabetes condition and being in remission for the past 7 years, many of you asked me what exactly did I do to reverse or control my condition, right? Okay, let me start here. As you all know, I was doing bodybuilding before, and at one point I was actually getting too big. I weighed in at about 128 kilograms in the off season, but I was also carrying a lot of body fat. My food intake was probably way too much. There's too much carbohydrates, and I wouldn't say it was a clean diet. So when I was bulking, so there was a lot of junk in it as well. Now couple that with the fact that my father, in his later years, also developed diabetes. We discovered that towards the very end, and so what had happened was way back in 2015, he had actually passed away, and after a few months, I was having some health issues, meaning to say, I was having a bit of a cloudy vision. I would get rashes that wouldn't seem to heal despite putting medications and stuff like that. So there was a whole bunch of stuff that was actually affecting my health. So I decided to actually go and do a blood test, do my urine test and everything. And that was when probably towards the end of, maybe the second half of onwards of 2015, I did all these tests and discovered that I was actually a diabetic type 2. Now, there are several factors that could have possibly triggered this. Okay, the poor diet, the fact that I was getting a bit too fat in the off season, right? The decrease in production of insulin. It could also be insulin resistance. So what I did was, after I had gotten back my test results, I actually told the doctor that I would not take any sort of medications that they were going to prescribe. I told them that I would want to go on a diet. I would try to fix my diet first and then come back in 3 months to do a follow-up test. And what had happened was, I did the exact the diet. It was so strict, like it was like as though I was competing again. So I shed about 25 kilograms. I weighed in at 128 when I started, and went on a very strict diet and lost 25 kilograms in a matter of 6 weeks. No drugs involved, okay? Pure diet and exercise. So from that point, I sort of maintained and hovered at about 103 kilograms even till now. So what I've done was totally eliminated all forms of sugar from my diet. Nothing, zero, no sugar. I had also eliminated all forms of starchy carbohydrates. Okay, no rice, no noodles, no bread, no biscuits, none of those, none. No, not even potatoes and pasta and everything. Okay, so typically my diet was fish or chicken. I would grill them. I would have maybe 2 to 3 meals a day in a very small portion. I would then eat that alongside with fresh vegetables, salads and everything. So cucumbers, tomatoes, cabbage, salad, lettuce, any leafy green, any sort of vegetables, but leafy, all right, not beans and seeds and stuff like that. So I was hungry most of the time, I would say. But I would also say that you got to be a little stubborn and resist, all the time. You're so used to actually munching and having treats in between and all this nonsense, right? So you got to be stubborn. You got to actually stick with the diet and just push through. For a lot of people, they would take the easy way out, don't do the diet, and just take whatever medication. And then along the way, some years down the road, they will find that this medication is causing other health issues. So I try to stay away from any form of drugs for as long as I can. I mean, if it comes to a point someday that I have no choice but to use these medications, fine. But between then and whatever time down the road, hopefully not, touch wood, hopefully not, that I would not need to depend on any sort of drugs, to control my condition. Now, having said that, just being on a moderate level of protein intake, right? Not crazy, not too much. I was not taking a lot of meat, fish or chicken or anything like that. I was probably doing maybe one chicken breast a meal twice a day, maybe, typically twice a day, or fish, and lots of veggie. Okay, so no snacks, no treats, no cheat days, none of that bullshit. I was totally off sodium as well, no Ajinomoto, MSG, nothing. My food was bland. I would marinate the fish or chicken with a little bit of like chili powder or curry powder, just to give a little bit of fragrance and taste, right? But that was about it. It was grilled plain on a non-stick pan, and then just raw vegetables. Okay, so day in, day out, 2 to 3 square meals a day. That would be my typical diet for till today, actually, to be honest with you. That's 7 years. Okay, so now we go on to what kind of supplements was I on. Now, of course, if you talk to a doctor, they will disagree and they will say, no, this is a placebo effect and this doesn't work, and that, there's no research to prove anything and all that. The hell with them. I've done it. It worked. Obviously, I actually researched enough to gather this information before actually using it. Okay. Before this, let me say something here. I am not here today to tell you or to teach you or to say that you can get off your medications and all that. I'm just telling you what I did for myself. Okay, so I don't want any complications happening in your life, and then you'll say, oh, but by the way, Terry told me this, so please, this is not an advice. This is just telling you my experience and my journey. Because I don't want to get into trouble, okay? Because I am not a medical professional. I am just doing what worked for me based on what I had researched on, okay? Now, we talk about the supplementations. I would typically take my fish oil. I would do between 2,000 and 3,000 milligrams a day in divided doses. I'll take my vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and zinc. I'll do my multivites and minerals. I would also take vitamin D, because I from what I've read, it also helps with people with metabolic syndromes like diabetes and stuff like that. Okay, now there is another area, and again, I am not an ambassador. I am not in any way promoting this brand. Just so happened that I found all the stuff that I need from this particular company. It is an Ayurvedic supplement. It's called Himalaya. I think a lot of you have heard. And I think their products, they also do research before they actually put it on the shelf. Okay, so it may not be in the medical journals and stuff like that proven to work. However, they do some research to actually say that it is safe enough and may help you with your conditions, right? Right. So I take Karela. Karela is actually a bitter melon in, well, the locals, we call it bitter gourd. Okay, extracts of bitter gourd, which is the bitter melon, to regulate or to control the blood sugar from going haywire, right? I also take Diegard, 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 and another one called Diabicon Double Strength. Now, typically, what it is supposed to do, the Diabicon is supposedly helps with our beta cells that produces insulin in our pancreas. So, with that, it actually rejuvenates, supposedly, okay guys, supposedly rejuvenates the beta cells to continue producing insulin, okay? Because when your beta cells die, as you know, then there will be lesser insulin, and without insulin, it doesn't transport all the carbs and the protein into your blood, into your cells, in your muscle cells and everything. Therefore, all this excess sugar flows in your blood and then later clogs up the arteries and all the little fine arteries and veins and all, which cause nerve ending to die, which is why people get, organ failures and chopping of limbs and everything, okay? So the Diabicon helps with that. The Diegard helps to regulate our blood sugar. Now, I think in the medical world there is a drug that's called glycoside. I think that's how you pronounce it. And what it does is, taken one dose in the morning before your breakfast, it will stabilize the sugar release throughout the day. Because you see, our liver also will produce sugar or glucose when the body needs it. Sometimes, it's not working too well, and then it just goes up, releases too much, especially, if you're sleeping in the middle of the night and then you wake up with a very high reading of sugar, and so it goes up and down. There are several effects, okay? I'll talk about it in a bit. So Diegard supposedly does that. It controls the blood sugar from going crazy, up and down and erratic and all. And then the Karela is, it's like metformin, I guess, It makes your cells a little bit more receptive and helps to transport. So these are the claims that these Ayurvedic supplements make. But, I've been using it for a very long time now. I do my blood works regularly. I do not have any other complications because, the concern is here you are trying to treat diabetes and then you develop kidney problems from taking all these untested drugs or supplements and all that. Now you see a lot of these advertisements on social media: drink this or eat this or take this capsule and all, and your sugar level will be back to normal. You don't need to take medication. Be careful of those kind of advertisements, because I have had friends who told me that their father actually died from taking stuff like this because he developed liver cancer from taking these things. So which led him to an early demise. So guys, be careful with what you put in your mouth, because these things that are not tested without any track record can kill. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. So typically I would do my diet. I would take my supplementation. I would also make sure I worked out every single day. Okay, I'll take Sunday, maybe Saturdays off and all that. Work out 5-6 times a week. I would weight train. I would not train like I was a bodybuilder going for a competition, but I would weight train. Okay, and finish with weight training, I would then do my cardio. I would at least put in bare minimum of half an hour, up to an hour, depending on how I feel. Okay. Now with very low carbohydrates and just getting your source of carbs, that minimal source of carbs from the vegetables that you eat, which is so little, right? So, and then of course tapping into your body fat for the your reserves for energy, you will feel less strong. So, but bear with it, it will pay off. So yeah, religiously train every day. Now, a lot of people wonder, okay, type 2, oh, it's a genetic defect, genetic problem, just pop a pill and I can go back to eating whatever I want, and that's what they say, and rubbish, okay, rubbish. You have to do something to change your lifestyle. You do not expect a change in your health doing the same shit that got you sick in the first place. Okay, people say it's a hereditary, it's a passed down thing and all that. Yeah, fine. Okay, if that was the case too, you still can control a lot of things, because a lot of the problems come from when you put rubbish into your mouth, you eat it, you don't do fuck all, and then you have complications and then put the blame on something else or somebody else around. No, you are in control of your life. Okay, pretty much that. Yeah, if you can do something about it, do change. Having diabetes would mean a 24/7 full-time job, round the clock, change of life. Okay, your body doesn't run on auto cruise anymore. It's like owning a TV and your remote control for tuning the volume up and down is spoiled, which means you got to walk to the TV, and tune the volume up or down. So it's just the same. Now, your body is not functioning at its optimum because you have a condition. And what do? Don't expect the body to try and fix it. You have to do something to change that little bit in your life, okay? So get up, make this change, do what you need to do, right? And I promise you, most of type 2 diabetes cases can actually get better. Most of type 2 diabetes can actually have normal lives without having to resort to drugs and things like that, because if you make the change, your body will try and heal itself if you help it. Now people say, oh, but like the kidneys, the pancreas don't repair itself. I don't know. I kind of disagree on that, I guess, because I think that what you could do is not stress it further, for one. Two, if you do find good supplements and use it, it's going to take time, and everything starts at a cellular level. Okay, if you don't repair the cells by way of assisting it through nutrients, then yeah, obviously things are going to go haywire. Okay, so that being said, I believe that you can actually bring your readings down, have them really under control, or even bring it back to a normal, acceptable level. Now, when I did my first blood test, my HbA1c was 7.5, clear-cut diabetes. Okay, within 3 months, after all the diet and all, I went back to the doctor, and she was shocked because my reading was now 5.5, which was normal. And I kept doing this, and every 3 months I would go back for my follow-up blood test, and my readings kept going down till I was about 5. Yeah, my last blood test was maybe 3 years ago, before COVID started, and I was at about 5.1. And 3 years have passed. 3 years because of COVID, I've not gone and done any tests. I was pretty much hiding away in. But my diet wasn't good. Okay, I was training, I was doing my supplements, but I was very relaxed with my diet. Now I would allow myself to eat carbohydrates, eat cakes, and drink sweet stuff every now and then, so go for buffets and all that. I just did my blood test a few days ago, and thank God my HbA1c reading was only 5.3, which means I've gone up from previously 5.1 to 5.3, so a small increase. That being said, you have to take into consideration that I was slacking off in my diet, and I'm also not a young man anymore, all right? So as you can see, there's a lot of gray hairs here. So as you age, your body also become a little bit resistant. So here's the key. I believe that in order for you to avoid getting into that resistant state, you need to abstain from eating a lot of food that would flood your system with sugar, like all the excess carbohydrates and sugar and pasta and cakes and everything. You need to stop that, because then you give your cells a break, right? So when there is something really that is there, that is, the body needs to address, like the sugar that is in your blood, your cells are receptive. It's not saturated anymore, right? So kind of think about an alcoholic who drinks, one beer feels nothing. He needs like 20 beers to get high, right? So a normal guy, probably 2 beers and then he'll go finish, that's it. So because the receptors are so clean, and the alcohol will get to it really quick. So it's the same principle, the way I look at it. That's what you need to do. Now, why do I keep my carb intake close to zero? So you think about a scenario like this, right? Here's a pail of water and you got a tap running. So the tap running represents the carbohydrates and the sugar that you eat every day. And the water is filling the pail. The pail represents the cells. And then the water overflows. The overflow represents the sugar that is spilling out from your cells into your bloodstream and not being utilized. So go to the source of the problem, your diet. Switch the tap off, all right? Cut off that flooding of sugar into your system, and then work out so that your pail would sort of be halfway full, so it never really overflows. You kind of control things like that. That's sort of an analogy that I can give. Of course, you probably get a doctor, oh, that's rubbish, that doesn't work, that it doesn't work that way and all. Okay, this is just a layman's way of looking at things. Of course, the scientific way, it's too deep and it's too troublesome to understand, and not everyone can grasp these medical terms and all. So to make it simple, to make it easy for a regular Joe to understand, this is how I would address it. And I would like, actually, for a lot of people with diabetes type 2 and all, to see this and have hope, rather than listening to a doctor that will tell you, oh no, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, this is rubbish, it's not going to help you, Come on, you're supposed to give us hope. We are the ones with the condition, not just say, take these 2 pills a day and this and this and this and you're done, walk away, that's it, No, you there's no education, and you cannot say there's a whole library filled with books and all. We got no time to walk into a library to dig up information that we don't even know where to start with, okay? To go into internet. There are stuff that you can dig up, but there'll be 100 different messages and you don't even know which to follow, right? So if they can't give you something hopeful, best keep their mouth shut. This is what I feel, honestly. I'm very blessed to have doctor friends that were very, very supportive. I have friends who have been living with this diabetes condition for the last 15-20 years. They share their experience and their advice. They even tell me they've seen cases where the guys are so bad, that diabetes is so bad, that the skin is all discolored, dark in color. Basically, doctors are telling them, go home, there's no more hope. This person is not going to live very long. And that person is living till today. right? They changed their lifestyle pretty much like what I did, a drastic change of lifestyle, and they're living today proving the doctors wrong. Okay, so I believe that with proper diet, with exercise, with supplementation, you are able to bring things under control, because I believe the body is always in a constant flux of trying to repair itself. But you got to help. You got to do your part. You got to help the body to recover. Do not damage it any further, knowing that it is already at the brink of, getting spoiled. So, this is right off the top of my head. Oh, okay. Before I forget, one more thing. Because I work out, and I was also using a pre-workout formula, which is basically it's called, it has citrulline in it. Citrulline is actually derived from watermelon. It's the precursor for nitric oxide, or those days you would get it in an amino acid called arginine. This also helps with regulating blood sugar, metabolizing it and regulating blood sugar. So I was also taking that, which after doing a little bit more digging, and then discovered that arginine helps with control of blood sugar as well. So this was also part of my regime. And so I was doing all this, and it has helped me achieve what I have achieved today, 7 years without any sort of drugs or medication, just pure supplements, natural diet, exercise. Okay, I can't really think, there's probably more information, but I can't really think at the top of my head right now. But guys, again, let me say this, I am sharing with you my experience, what I did that worked for myself. I am in no way advocating what I did to say that this is going to cure you, this is going to turn things around for you, this is going to eliminate your problem. Please be careful with what you do. Make sure you research enough, and you're the best person. You would know your own body. But take it from me, you need to make that change. You need to address all these issues, because if you don't do it, who's going to do it? It's your body, and not the doctors, not somebody else's, right? It's your body. So you got to take care of your body, and you would know what's best for yourself, right? So get rid of that body fat, get rid of that visceral fats. These are all contributing factors to having this metabolic syndrome, and a lot of people, day by day, you would see more and more people having this issue. It's on the rise. Why? Just look at the food we eat today, and the conditions we live in today. It's just, it's appalling, really. So if you want the change, if you want to, I make sure this you get better, make the change. All right. Okay. It's a little too long-winded. I think some of you will probably not even listen to the end. But anyway, that's my take. That's what I did, and I wish every one of you the best. I hope that you will achieve your goals and set a path to get better. All right, this can be done, but you have to want to do it. Okay, guys, peace out.